On today's episode of the Deer Park Roundtable, the final episode of the 2024-25 school year, we are closing things out with a viral sensation and a familiar face from around the district.
No, I kind of just figured if my mom even posted it to someone, then it would be something small.
Harvey Hoops, better known online as HotDogHarv, joins us to talk about his parody hit that's taken the internet and the local hockey arena by storm. Joining Harvey is his mom, Miss Emily Hoops, who is transitioning into a brand new role as Deer Park's ELA Gifted Coordinator.
Kids of all different needs is to look for ways that maybe our school and community have a need that we can problem solve. What is the problem? Where can we find resources, and can we take a step toward making that better for someone or some group of people in our community?
It's the perfect mix of laughs, learning, and a little hot dog talk to wrap up an unforgettable year. Let's get into it. Welcome to the park, where the stories of our incredible staff and faculty go beyond the classroom. From their passions to their personal journeys, we're diving into what makes our Deer Park community truly unique. This podcast isn't just about their roles as educators, it's about who they are as individuals, the lives they lead, and the impact they make both inside and outside of school walls. This is the Deer Park Roundtable. Hoops family, welcome to the Deer Park Roundtable.
Hi.
Thanks. Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here today. Harvey, I have to tell you, you are the most famous person who has ever been on my podcast. So I'm first of all honored, proud to have you here. Thanks for doing this. All right, I got to start here. What is a feeling like when you post this video on the internet and then a day later, 2 days later, how long is it before you realize, holy cow, there's a lot of people looking at this thing?
It was awesome. It was crazy. I was like, wait, that's a lot of people. It's crazy.
What did you, when you wrote the song, you're writing it for a talent show, right? Did you think that it was going to go on the internet and get that many views?
No, I kind of just figured if my mom even posted it or someone, then it would be something small.
Yeah, something your friends see, something maybe a few people look at. By my count, yeah, of course.
Things like that.
By my count, I count about 5 million views across all platforms. All right, let's take a step back. What even inspired you to create this song in the first place?
Well, my sister listens to Hot to Go a lot. So after forcing me to listen to it, I kind of just messed around with the letters and found out hot dogs.
Yeah, I mean, it's what serendipity for it to be perfect to match those letters. I have to admit, I'm old. All right, I had never heard of Chapel Roan. Am I saying that right? Before your song, was it really just that your sister made you listen to it that much? That's where it came from.
Yes.
Chapel Roan's pretty awesome. That's some pretty good music.
Yeah.
It's not that I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Your head a lot.
Just stuck in your head and all of a sudden. Now, you guys, your sister, I've seen her in the talent show as well in previous years, and you guys are very famous for coming up with these crazy skits. And did you feel like you had to one-up her a little bit and do something even crazier than she did in her talent show performances?
Just having fun.
Just having a good time with it. That's awesome. You know, we were just talking about this before we started, that I've seen these videos on news channels from Arkansas and Chicago and national news channels. What is it like to, get calls from news companies asking to interview you? What does that feel like?
Honestly, I would just be like, wait, they want to interview me? Is this a mix-up? Or it was just very surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. You also recorded the song for Spotify and Apple Music and Amazon. How did that happen?
Well, one person at my church just was saying like, hey, yeah, I can record it for you. And so,
yeah, he's a good friend of ours, and he is in the local music scene and plays for a lot. And so he was like, we should actually record this. Just record it because it's great. So he and a friend put it together. He recorded Harvey, and he did like the organ parts, and then his friend did all the rest of the instrumentals. So they just kind of did the whole thing.
That is
like one night.
That is so cool. I have to get into the weeds, Emily, real quick, because I got to know. Is there licensing issues? How does that work from putting things online like that?
As long it's parody laws,
right,
allow you a lot of grace and freedom in that. So we just looked into all of that ahead of time and made sure that we don't want to steal anyone's.
Yeah, of course.
Sure. And we're also not looking to profit off of it. Right. And so we're just wanted to make sure that if he wants it out there, that we're not like doing it wrong. So the parody laws are help with that.
Yeah.
But it was all originally played by new musicians too.
Very
so
cool.
We didn't use someone's
yeah.
karaoke track or anything like that. Well, for his talent show performance he did, but the recording
once you recorded it for real,
it was all by local folks that we know.
Yeah.
You have also performed now at the Cincinnati Cyclones game. You've got another one coming up, right? Did I hear that right? The Cleveland Guardians have asked you to come out. What was that experience like, getting to perform for the Cyclones? I saw the video. It was really, really cool.
It was honestly awesome.
Yeah, you weren't scared at all with all those people in the stands and everybody watching you?
No.
You don't get scared, do you? No. Yeah, you're just a natural performer.
I don't understand it.
What, Emily, has the process been like for you? Just like, I can't imagine when you put this online, the expectation was this craziness that has followed.
Well, we're really lucky that we have so many people in our lives that are really into supporting our kids.
Yeah.
And so it was actually my neighbor who posted it. They were sitting right behind us at the talent show. And she kind of leaned forward after I had recorded it and was like, can you airdrop that to me? And can I please post it on TikTok? TikTok, people will love it. And I was like, okay, why not? Because I'm not very active on TikTok or any really social media. I snoop sometimes, but that's about it.
Right.
So the fact that it blew up was kind of thanks to her. And between her and my husband, they have been managing like the different platforms.
Yeah.
I told them I can take on 0 more things right now, but I'm happy to help in however. So we show up to things, we just kind of get it moving, but they're the ones arranging the stuff.
Yes.
So, and I just make sure that we're not going too far. I'm keeping the lid on.
Yes, I like that. I think that's important too. Yeah. Harvey, the last piece that I have for you is you also had a pretty big surprise a couple of weeks ago when you were made a official hot dogger by the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. What was that like? What happened? Just tell me about that whole day.
Well, really, I was at church, okay, and it was after, and I was just hanging out there because my mom and dad were doing something. I didn't know that they were here.
Yeah, now you know why.
Because there was also an event that day, so I figured they were just helping out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so my neighbor was saying like, hey, come out, we need you to help with something. So when I walked out there, I saw that through the doors there was the Wienermobile, and that was crazy.
Was that the coolest part of this whole thing so far?
Yeah.
For a couple of years, he's talked about wanting to have a Wienermobile when he gets older and wanting to drive one. And he's asked me a lot of like, would you rather have a brand new minivan or an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile? And I'm like, a minivan,
yeah.
Practical. That looks too gigantic. So,
what was it like riding in it? Was it pretty cool?
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Lots of people waved, right? Out the window.
Yeah, imagine there's not that you aren't used to people looking and seeing things. Have you been recognized in public at any point yet?
Aside from school, no.
Okay. I bet your friends think this is all pretty cool too.
Yeah, your sister's friends have been pretty cool about when they see you saying, is this the hot dog Harvey?
Has there been an impact on your lives as this thing has, outside of having to obviously go to a lot of events and things?
So a little bit. Mostly we're kind of just shocked at the outpouring of people who just love seeing what he's doing and love hearing from him. And it's been really, the internet is full of so many battling forces.
Yes.
It's just been joy has really been the response. And I'm so glad and grateful that we can have the opportunity to kind of put some more joy out into the world.
It is fun because there are going viral is not always a good thing, and oftentimes it is not a bad thing. It is nice to see on the news and in these places things that are going viral for fun and not. Has Chapel Roan reached out to you yet? Is my next question.
No.
And she hasn't tried to sue us yet.
Yeah.
I think you'll be all right on that front, but my guess is you might, if this keeps going the way that it is. What's next for HotDogHarv? Do you have any plans in the making for new songs, or don't spoil anything, but anything good coming up for us?
There's a lot of demand, right?
Yeah,
People were
a lot of people are wanting me to make more songs. Like, yes, I want to.
Have we read through the comments and seen what people have to say? Is that what they're looking for? Just those positive interactions?
Yeah, we've seen. We keep a close eye on him and share a lot with him, and it's mostly just people saying like he is living my dreams. The Wienermobile stuff got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, how did I should have done that? And that it's.
They didn't. You did. So that's pretty cool. And I mean, even just now, that first video had so many views on it, and then you see the other ones, and now you've got other videos that have 500,000 views and a couple 100,000 views. Pretty cool. So it's very cool stuff, and you're shining a good light on our school, and that's cool to be a part of. So.
And we really just. So this is his second year doing the talent show. He's done it since he's been old enough to, and his sister did the talent show every year. We just really love bringing original things to it. That's just who both of those kids are.
I hate to tell you this, but the pressure's probably on. You got to start thinking about next year for how you're going to top this one. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, Emily, I want to jump to you just for a little bit here because there is some stuff going on in your life also, not Hot Dog To Go related. You're taking on a new role next year as a gifted coordinator, leaving the first grade. I'm sure there's some bittersweetness to that.
Very bitter, but also very sweet.
But tell me a little bit about this transition and what you're expecting in the new role.
So, interestingly, when I saw that the job was posted, I did not initially see myself in that role. It just came and went in my mind. But a lot of people stopped by and said, "Hey, are you putting your name in for that? Like, you really should. You'd be great at it." So I'm not sure I believed them. I kind of did a lot of thinking about it, and one of the things that I really have loved in my classroom this year in particular was working so closely with our intervention specialists, our really higher needs kids. And I was talking to my husband about like, well, I don't want to stop working with them. And on occasion, he says the right thing and said, why do you have to stop if you move into that new role? And I said, well, I guess I don't. I just have to be a little more creative about how we make that work. And I think there was no reason to close the door.
Yeah.
So I just kind of thought about it some more and did some reading into like what that would look like, and realized how passionate I actually kind of am about these areas of teaching kids who are quirky and gifted and just awesome.
Yeah.
So many ways. So I interviewed and here we are.
Here we are. What have you thought? And it's the end of the year craziness, obviously. Yes. So, but have you thought about kind of what your goals are, what you're looking forward to, and just how you're going to support our students in so many different ways? So
one of the things is, I think Kara Gummel has done an incredible job of really like kickstarting. Like, she wasn't the first person to take on this role, but since I've been working here, she's been the one that I've really seen in this role. And I think that what she has going on is awesome for our kids. And one thing that I would like to do is find ways to make that instruction kind of more across the building. So one of the ideas that I was kind of pondering for how to really connect with kids of all different needs is to look for ways that maybe our school and community have a need that we can problem solve. What is the problem? Where can we find resources, and how can we take a step toward making that better for someone or some group of people in our community? So that's where I'm kind of focused right now. As I finish out the year in first grade, I'm trying to really finish that part well.
Yeah.
But looking at like what needs does our school and community have, and how can we have some of our most creative thinkers put their minds to finding solutions for those things.
That's very cool. You're also going to be working closely, I would assume, with one of my previous guests, Michelle Lemon.
Yes.
I don't know how much experience you have working with her. She's incredible. We all know that. But how do you guys combine the two kind of avenues of ELA and math and those different places to kind of put it all together and create a cohesive unit?
So I have one of those interesting brains where my interest is on a pendulum. So I go back and forth between thinking like math is my whole life to then like language arts is my whole life.
Yeah.
And I just can really deep dive that way. And I feel like that just kind of elevates my knowledge that I have and bring. But I don't see a huge line between language arts and math. I see so many ways that they are way more connected than I think we notice in the day-to-day teaching and in the world. So I see a lot of things where I'm like, oh, that would be great, but I'm not teaching the math end. But that is absolutely literacy based. So I'm kind of seeing ways that they can weave a lot and we can work together a lot more.
That's awesome. Well, she absolutely
That's just one of the reasons why I'm here at Deer Park, because we moved to Deer Park in 2016.
Okay.
And that's just where we found a house.
Yeah, of course.
That we could make work for our family. And my daughter started going to Amity, or actually was here at Holmes, and had Mrs. Lemon for first grade.
Oh, wow.
And then got to have Mrs. Lemon again in third grade. And just seeing how much that my daughter flourished under her instruction. She's had only incredible teachers, but there is no teacher that could make that child like math more than Mrs. Lemon. And she just like seeing the way that she poured in.
Yeah.
My one kid kind of made me go like, Deer Park is way more awesome than people know. And so I tried for a couple of years to get here and finally made it.
That's actually a great segue to one of my last questions here. And I asked this to everybody, but I think you are very uniquely poised to answer this question is like, what is the secret sauce of Deer Park? Because we all know that like it's special, right? Yeah. But as a parent, as a teacher, as a resident, I think you kind of have a unique perspective to answer that question of like, why is this place so special?
Well, I think what it is the teachers here are 100% for kids.
Yeah.
And it's not just teachers. I say teachers with a really broad umbrella over it. But anyone who comes in our building who is not for kids doesn't stay.
Yeah.
Like they don't, if that's not what your attitude is, then you don't want to stay, because we make decisions and we make our best, we make the best things happen because we put what do kids need and what would be best for them first. And any classroom, you could walk into any classroom and you see that playing out moment to moment in the little ways and in the big ways. And it's not just we have to get all the standards in because we want our kids to succeed and have those high test scores, but it's the way teachers speak to kids, the way they make them feel like they matter 100%. I think I worked in quite a few schools in a couple different states, and no other school has had that. Just everyone is on board with kids. So
that's a great answer. All right. The last thing I want to do as we close this out here, I just want to give you the floor a minute to talk about this young man sitting here. You've had, obviously this whirlwind thing, but we know he's more than this song here. And just how proud of him are you, and what has all of this meant for you?
Well, he's one of the good ones. Harvey is one of the most hardworking and creative thinkers that I know. He can find very creative ways to argue with me about why we should or shouldn't do something the way he wants to do it or doesn't want to do it. But ultimately, he just really is a joyful kid. And that's his number one goal is to have fun and in a way that is not harming others, that is respectful toward others. And I think we're really lucky that he's really kind of taken on those characteristics that we want in our kids.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I'm really proud of him for then also staying pretty cool about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Nothing really rattles him about this whole thing, and nothing has really made him feel that he's above anyone for anything.
Yeah.
He's enjoying the time he has.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for doing this. Harvey, again, thank you for being the first student to ever be on the Roundtable podcast. Thank you for all you've done for the school. Honestly, like I said, you've been absolutely a wonderful representative of who we are and kind of what we're all about. So thank you. Emily, thanks for doing this, and good luck to you next year. I know we're expecting great things from you, and I know you'll deliver on that. So thank you guys.
Thanks again, Jake.
Thank you.